Cause I'm about that. Cause I'm about that. I'm about that come up, running up on them fools that are talking foolish. Try to get them funds up, killing the mic just like I ran and jewels in. Y'all gonna get done up front and on that kid with an attitude, but you can't really blame this motherfucker to do what he had to do. I'm about that cash flipping, I'm getting it on and off the market. Not about that VIP, not me, not never been a fan of carpets. All about that RIP for all of my Jesus gone departed. All about that finish what I started, I'm about that.
Talk down all night, you're not ready. We ride, we're not ready. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Down all night, you're not ready. We ride, we're not ready. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
Know that I'm about it. Want a man I can bring the drama, but it ain't by chance I'm fucking rapping. You don't really want a problem. Made a little cash in the back end, but still rapping, calling me starving. Yeah, y'all gotta ask who the man is. Hope I'm gonna be like, beg your pardon. Homie, I'm about that.
Talk down all night, you're not ready. We ride, we're not ready. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Down all night, you're not ready. We ride, we're not ready. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to a Monday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Oakley here, Dr. Mac next to me, Jamie Thompson in the far square. Dr. Quinn is back. Down below, you got the Mighty McNuggies in the middle, Months, and we've got Ty Bartell. Richie got caught up with an interview with the YSU tennis team, so he will not be with us today. Gentlemen, ladies that are joining us here on YSN Power Hour, a lot to get to, but first, as we always do, it is National Clean Your Desk Day, and this is kind of the same. I'm just terrible with keeping my desk clean, but it also clean your desktop. It was like a pick or choose there. So, are you a clean desk person, Billy, or is your desk messy as hell?
It depends. It just depends if I'm what I'm doing at the time. So there's like two stages of me. There's like really cleanliness and order, like pre going into work, and then there's the aftermath after work when I'm doing videos and things like that. I got stuff everywhere, but for the most part, I try to keep it organized because chaos. I do well with chaos out on the floor when I'm working, but when I'm by myself working, I need everything kind of to be where it needs to be.
I can appreciate that. Jamie, how about you?
I'd like to say I keep my desk pretty clean. The only thing that kind of builds up is when I write down like notes on during the show and stuff. Those can kind of pile up here and there, but I try and keep it clean as possible.
Let's head down to Dr. Quinn.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very neat, organized, like borderline OCD with that stuff.
You are a neat freak. Like, your desk is your TV and then your bag, and that is it. Like, it is freaky neat. Like, nobody, like, you could leave for months at a time and nobody would know that anybody even literally works there. McNuggies, how about you? Are you a dirty desk guy?
Oh, yeah. My desk is messy as hell. 24/7, 363. I clean it like 2 days a year when my mom makes me.
There are so many people right now praying and fingers crossed that your internet cuts out like no other today of all days, because I think the world wants to hear from the Mighty McNuggies. Muncie, how about your desk?
Mike, how many days in a year?
What?
How many days are in a year?
365. I said that it's clean the 2 days my mom makes me do it.
Oh, okay. I heard 363. I'm like, I think there's 2 more days in there. My desk is clean. I have things organized on here, but I am in no comparison to my wife. Like, her desk is immaculate to like the pens are in colored order. I mean, yeah.
Rosie
like
Biv.
Oh, she is insane when it comes to that. Like, the ladies at work know not to mess with her, because if you want to mess with my wife with like make her head explode, mess with her desk. Like, move the pencils around, move the paper clips around, do something like that. She will. I'm not allowed. Put it this way: I'm a 43-year-old adult man. I can't touch our calendar at home on the refrigerator because
she sees what you do with our calendar online.
Yeah, she's like, no, you're not allowed to write on the calendar. I'll write something on the calendar, like I got a game or something. the next day it's erased and rewritten in her handwriting because she's like, you messed with that. And it bothered her that much. So, yeah, I've kind of learned from her that, like, you know, it needs to be neat and things where they need to be. So
You gave out the secret weapon for Carrie Munson.
that is her kryptonite.
How could you do that as a husband?
That is her kryptonite. Because nobody's going to go to the bank. You can't get in there anyway. So it'll be safe.
I see the pun right there. It'll be safe. Ty Bartell, messy desk, clean desk.
Oh no, my life is full of organized chaos, and my desk is much of the same. So it's like
that room.
The desk, yeah. The desk is like there's things that kind of go together, but they don't. They're not in any particular like order per se. So like there's books, there's a calendar there.
Tubs.
It's not like straight. It's all messed up. There's pens all over it, but they're kind of in the same area of each other. So it's organized chaos. But like Paul said, my fiance is the clean freak of it. So we're it's the opposite of track kind of notion. She keeps everything tidy.
The yin and the yang. Love it.
Yeah,
All right,
much.
guys, we have sports to talk about. We got a lot to talk about, including some games, I don't know, that might have happened yesterday that we might want to just go over real quick. Jamie's still waiting on that Cowboys game tonight, so maybe Jamie will get a little preview of what that's going to look like. Hopefully the Cardinals can win by 2.
The hell is
What is that noise?
It's Billy's dog.
He's drinking water.
It sounded like a washing machine.
So we start today with week 2 of the high school playoffs in football. There's a lot of people that are looking for our breakdown of what we saw, what we liked, what we didn't like, and I gotta say, we can't start anywhere else than the guy that shared the calls of the night. What was it, 100-plus points of
109
football?
points.
Dr. Mack, tell us about your night on, was it Saturday night?
Man, I tell you what, it was one of the most interesting games I think I've ever been a part of as a player, coach, short time as an announcer.
Hi.
It was some of the best football I think I played offensively. Defensively, there wasn't a whole lot of that being played. There was a lot of weird things going on. So you had onside kicks being returned to the 1-yard line. You had interceptions. You had 3 play. I mean, we had 27 seconds and three scores were happening. So it was a fantastic game. Jeff Bezos passed out twice calling the game. So it was real exciting. We had the fans kind of right up in you. It was a little bit different than being at like some of these other stadiums that we've been to this year. I mean, they're 6 inches away from our face, and it was great because they were the team that won. So they got a lot of excitement coming from their direction. But we tore it up. So and they did too.
You sure did. LeBray and Brookville put on an absolute show. And in case you are new to YSN, you can go get that for $2.99 in our archives. And trust me, I've watched it probably 3 times, laughed my ass off every single time because you're looking for high quality entertainment. You're looking for, I don't want to say information because you and Jeff just go. You're just a million miles an hour, and it's perfect for you when they score 109 points because you guys just bring the energy each and every time. So make sure you check that game out. Mac, Bezos, you guys did a fantastic job. Jamie, our heartbreaker.
Just listening to that game.
Yeah. It's fun, and that's what it's all about. It's all about fun. We have as much fun as the players do out there playing, and that's the whole goal of it. Jamie, you had a heartbreaker on Friday night and an unbelievable comeback on Saturday night. You had quite the weekend, young man.
Yeah, it really was a tale of 2 halves in both games. I mean, Hubbard came out and dominated like I expected. In the first half, I said it on the Power Hour, but Geneva, I mean, credits to them. They really did shut down the Hubbard offense, and they found a weakness in that Hubbard defense and just continued to hit it all throughout the second half. I mean, just some bonehead mistakes. I mean, they happen. They're young kids, late penalties, holds here and there, and that'll happen. But Poland-Salem, that was a great game too. I mean, literally took all the wind out of the press box on Saturday because Salem came out on fire. I mean, offense, Jackson Johnson is an amazing athlete. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. He's amazing, but Poland weathered the storm. And I got to say, at halftime, Salem kind of went in, and they were a little bit too much air in the heads. They were all excited. Hey, we're up 15 on the region winners. And Poland just came out and they pounded them into the ground. And yeah, Kalissimo, man, the fullback threw a 57-yard bomb. It was insane. That was a cannon. That kid's great. Fulton's great. Mrakovic is great. Poland's going to be a really tough out.
Paul, say that name for us again. You know how to say it right.
Colissimo.
Colissimo. Are you sure that's it?
I was instructed on how to do that when they came to South Range. I know on the PA announcing, I was calling him Colissimo. And my buddy Dave is a principal over there at Poland, and he sent me a voicemail and said his name is Colissimo. And I was like, okay.
Nick will give us the thumbs up or thumbs down if that's accurate. I know that there's kind of a to-do right now, and as someone who, you know, I know it's just one of those names. You know, you think it looks like this. I can only imagine if we gave Jeff Bezos that name, what it would be like Carpenter.
I have a buddy that's spelled the same last name, and he pronounces his last name Colosimo. So I can understand the confusion.
You're right. He's wrong. Okay, Nick, phonetically put it in, and we will try to correct it because Richie Giuliano and Todd Thorne will be your announcers. We want to make sure it's absolutely right for a big
So
broadcast.
is he saying I'm right and Dave's wrong?
Paul, you're always wrong. You should just absolutely go to that.
All right.
Well, he's gonna. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm really hoping I'm right because trust me, Dave thinks he's right about everything. So it'll be great if I'm right when I said Colissimo.
Here we go. Colissimo.
Colissimo.
So you were wrong. Sorry. Dave's wrong.
Dave wrongs.
Yes.
Dave wrongs.
Yes.
How about them Falcons? Yes.
Yep.
We'll get to the Falcons in just a little bit. Hang tight, Josh. We're gonna get to Quinn. You were back in studio. What was it like back here?
Well, I had the joys of listening to Billy and Jeff the whole night, so that was exhausting, I guess.
I thought you were gonna say exotic.
No, well, yeah, it could be exotic too. I mean, with the way Jeff is. I mean, I was getting phone calls from Jeff during breaks and stuff about passing out, and apparently he was in a stance making calls and stuff like that. That's on
Yep.
to explain.
He was literally in a 3-point stance for a call. That happened. That was a real thing.
I think Billy, at some point, you probably wanted him to jump up and hit his head on that board.
Oh, he did twice. He hit his head twice when he was jumping around in there.
What? Help me out here. Why was he in a 3-point stance again?
Not sure. I thought he was going to go make a play. I really thought he was going to go try to make a play. So it was when he was like, "You got to go, boom, yeah,
Oh, that's the best. That's the best. Quinn, what are you drinking?
And I'm not going to lie to you, I have no idea what I did Friday. I don't
Whoa.
even-
Don't skirt this. Pick up your drink.
Yeah, it's a can. Yeah.
Can of?
Yeah. We all
Mountain Dew.
No, pick it up. I need this for evidence.
No, you've seen it.
I need this for evidence.
Mountain Dew.
Pick it up.
I'm getting it. I'm drinking
Pick
it.
it up or you're fired.
I'm that first time on a Monday.
There it is, baby. He's back.
He had some on Friday.
I had one on Friday too. Yep.
He had one on Saturday too.
I did. I'm not drinking Pepsi. That's garbage.
Oh yeah, that's much better. Mountain Dew.
Tastes
Citrus.
like garbage.
McNuggies.
Antifreeze.
A
Better.
rough weekend for you, my friend. On Saturday, talk to me about what you saw with the local Beavers.
The Beavers, I mean, in warm-ups and talking to a couple of the players, they were very confident heading into this game, and then Shaw showed up, and honestly, my dogs are going crazy upstairs. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but I feel like that they might have been intimidated by Shaw, and Shaw actually got a little bit of a boost. Glenville, a nearby city, they shut down their high school season, got a lot of transfers from there, improved from 2-8 to 4-2, and now we're going on to face Canal Fort Northwest. I don't know if it's legal or not, but they were able to do it. They got a lot of transfer kids. I believe their entire offensive line and the running back that mainly
How is that legal though?
That mainly had all their big plays what actually came from Glenville. So a lot of their big time players that made their plays came from Glenville High School. But I really don't think that's an excuse. I believe from what I saw, this team kind of looked intimidated. And a couple of things that really killed them were not being able to get off the field on third downs because they had a lot of 3rd and 15s, 3rd and 12s, and Shaw just made big time plays. And then offensively, they just seemed really out of sync and they couldn't get anything going. I think they had 4 turnovers inside their own 40-yard line. Shaw took advantage of that, and an unfortunate end to the season for Beaver Local.
Well, DJ, if you think about it, that happened locally here too. Think about when Cheney first shut down. Kids were allowed to go to another school.
Wait. They shut down for good, not just for COVID.
No,
I don't know. I think Glenville shut down for
Hang on,
the season. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe that the head coach for Beaver Local, who just so happens to be my dad, said in our interview, this is on the record, that they had a number of kids transfer from Shaw when their city shut down the season.
Okay, Jamie, you had something?
Yeah, Glenville is not playing football this season, and a lot of I don't know if it's how many there are. Those 8 Ted Ginn Academy guys that I talked about, those are the ones that go to Glenville.
Yeah.
So since Glenville does not have a football season, that's why they went to East Cleveland Shaw, because
So are
they
they
do
gonna
their
go back?
schooling at the Ted Ginn Academy.
I don't know. A lot of there were actually
If the school opens
these.
back up next year.
There were a
School has
decent chunk
football
that were
next year, they can
seniors,
go
though.
back.
There were a
That's-
decent chunk that were seniors, so they won't be able to have another season if they do go back. But there are
But
some
that's-
that will.
We'll talk about that. Don't let me forget. We're gonna get to
That could be a Tuesday topic.
That's a load of crap.
I think it's kind of like if Ursuline doesn't have bowling and you go to Ursuline, you can still, if you live in Hubbard, come back to Hubbard and bowl.
You can play at your home high school or whatever.
It's in the OSHA bylaws.
It'd be like if you go to Heartland Christian and they don't have football and you come
Stupid.
from
That's
Anthem.
dumb.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
That's dumb. That's wrong on at least in my opinion on so many different levels, because you're just going to school to play a sport. Like, no, this is student athlete. This is like you go to one high school. That's it. That's all you get. That's it. If your high school shuts down and you move, you have to go to that high school. Like you if you transfer, like if let's say, and this doesn't happen naturally, if Mooney shuts down because of COVID and Ursuline is playing, if those kids go to Ursuline, they are becoming Ursuline students.
And I can tell you it was evident that they were not playing at Shaw because I think that they had double-digit false start penalties alone. They didn't seem like they had the chemistry, yet they still went in there and whooped Beaver Local. But
Yeah, there's a lot of people I know
disciplined.
at South Range. There was a lot of wide eyes for that game on Saturday night. Paul, speaking of South Range, you got to call the duties of PA announcer. Talk to me about what you saw with Harrison Central and South Range.
I think what Billy talked about it earlier in the week about teams got to shake off the rust a little bit, and that's what happened. I mean, South Range came out and they struck first and they scored. I mean, went right down the field, scored fast, and then Harrison Central came. I mean, they just took. I think South Range scored in 2 plays in the first drive.
Yep.
Well, then Harrison Central took 6 minutes and just went right down the field. But like Coach Yeagley alluded to in his interview, they were a one-man show. That Kobe Mitchell, they lived and died by what that kid did at quarterback. And I tell you what, that kid can throw the pigskin. I mean, he was accurate for a long time during the night, had a great ball. But after a while, I mean, their defense, South Range had 9 possessions. They scored on 8 of them. They punted only on their second possession of the night. After that, they scored every single time. So their defense in Harrison Central just couldn't stop, the 5-6-headed monster that South Range has. And, you had Crumbacher, who had 173 yards, I think, and receiving. Yeah, 3 touchdowns. I mean,
3 catches. Yeah,
3 catches for that, and I think 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
So, I mean, it was just they took care of business. They got a little scared because at one point Harrison Central was up. They did score to go ahead, but then, I mean, after that, South Range just took care of business and did exactly what they should have done, and that was win by a lot. So
My streak continues of the mercy clock. I think I don't know if it'll continue this week because South Range probably going to have their hands full a little bit with Beechwood at least more than they've had in the last few weeks, to say the least. But yeah, I mean, to quote, I guess an indirect quote of what I heard after the game in the locker room was, we couldn't tackle much those first couple of possessions on defense, and then all of a sudden they remembered what it's like to wrap and drive, and that was the end of Harrison Central. So South Range moves on. Not a whole lot of people picking against the Raiders. So this is, I don't want to say a surprise, because we all expected Fitch to win, I believe. Ty Bartel, what did you see Austintown Fitch do so well that they were able to blank Twinsburg 35-0?
Well, in talking with Coach Parker before the game, he really he alluded to the rest versus rust debate is what we kind of talked about, and he talked about wanting the rest this week because there were some injuries, and as we saw, Todd Simons, one of the premier Fitch receivers, did not even play in this game against Twinsburg, but you really wouldn't have even known it. That offense was hitting on all cylinders, and that's the thing we see, I think, about Fitch going forward is their ability to adjust, and they really are a three-headed dragon in that. Offensively, special teams, and then they proved again in this game defensively that they can get the job done and step up when they need to step up. And it's a very next man up mentality, as we saw Tyler Evans having a great game for the Falcons. Devin Sherwood is always great. Jamel James on the ground, putting up 119 rushing yards on the night. The most impressive performance, I think, by far was Nate Leskovac, who led the team defensively and tackles, solo tackles. He had a sack on the night. The team in tackles for loss. He caught some passes. He threw the ball on some special teams. He had some passes thrown. He rushed the ball a few times. He even punted the ball once. He literally filled the stat category in almost every single column. Just an amazing performance that night from Leskovac, and he's a freak athlete. But I think it really goes to show that in the rust versus rust debate, at least for this Fitch team, there was no rush shown. The only drive where I think there was one drive Twinsburg got within the 20-yard line, and that was the first drive of the night, and Fitch got him out on first and goal. And after that, they really couldn't go. I mean, you saw Twinsburg players; they were really doubting themselves, and it was kind of talking to themselves because the defense and everything was just hitting on all cylinders all night for the Falcons.
Do we think that anybody's ever going to give Fitch the credit that they deserve? Because I feel like everybody looks at Fitch and goes, this is the weekend that they come back down to earth. This is the week they come back. We don't, naturally. I mean, we've believed in this team since week one. TJ Parker walked in there, and it was a completely changed atmosphere, culture, you name it. He's got his great coaching staff. He's got great kids. And let's be honest, they're not even at their peak yet. And that, to me, is the most scary part of this whole thing. Fitch could be state champions in a year where they were, quotes, and this is on our network, a guy that works 12 to 3 says a year away. I think that this could be their year, and things are lining up, but they're going to have to take some punches. And they showed Twinsburg last week, and I think this week is going to show us everything we need to know about the Fitch Falcons. Mac, I mean, you've seen this. You've been a believer in Coach Parker's team since the jump. Talk to me about what Fitch has to prove here this week against Warren G. Harding.
I mean, who cares? Who cares what they have to prove? As long as they keep winning football games, I mean, that's the name of the game at this point in the game, right? We're here. They're here. They got one goal is to go out and try to win a state championship. So they got to win by whatever. It could be terrible play. It could be great play. I mean, if I'm coaching, I'm not concerned myself with it. Use it for motivation. Certain people pick them to go 2-4, but I wouldn't be overly concerned about it. I would just use it as motivation. And hey, let's get our kids together and let's just go play football because obviously it's not a win or go home situation because you still got the regular season stuff if you go before week 10, but they want to go try to win a state championship and they have a really great chance to do so.
Do you think it's an us versus the world mentality in that Fitch locker room?
I think every team tries to build that us versus the world mentality. I mean, I don't care what school you're at or what, you try to build that culture because it's one of the easiest ways coaches kind of build the camaraderie and get you to buy in and believe things. So sure, I would say that.
Quinn, you got a chance to kind of peek at this game. What are your feelings on Fitch? Do you think that they can be a legitimate contender for a state title this year?
I mean, yeah, it's like Billy just said. I mean, you win. It doesn't matter how you win, just win. Like, that's the name of the game when you're in the playoffs. And, I mean, they're probably one of the most complete football teams in our area, if not the state. They, like Ty was saying earlier, they do it all. They literally can do everything. I mean, the only thing standing in their way is literally probably 2 teams in my mind that are in that division from a state championship. And you get the joys of playing one of them in your region to get out. And if you do that, I mean, yeah, you definitely can win state.
Who are those teams?
Akron, Hoban, and Massillon, Washington.
I think everybody knew. I just wanted to hear you say it because
You beat those 2 teams, you're destined to do some pretty special things.
I think if you're a Fitch fan, you're hoping that they get to that point. Obviously, you're hoping, but I mean, I think you really see how good this team is then if they match up with an Akron Hoban. I mean, if we're being honest, that is the one team because we've seen them play the Benedictines, and they've been able to handle some of these teams from Cleveland. But I think if they match up with that Hoban team, people from the area will really see how good this Fitch team can be.
I think.
Well, I think if you at the end of the year, right? However it plays, let's say they don't win a state championship, and people can go back and say this was a top 3 team in the state of Ohio. That's pretty great. I mean, ultimately the goal is to win a state championship, but if you give it some time and a year goes by and you say, hey, we were a top 3 team, that's nothing to shake your head at.
See, but I think this team's different. I think this team's not satisfied with being a top 3 team. I think this team has played better all year with a chip on their shoulder. I think that there's been a couple times this season where they've got comfortable and they've kind of let their guard down a little bit, and that's when they've let teams back into it. And I think
so. You're in your mind, you're thinking state championship or bust. It's not a good year if you don't win a state championship.
I think let's be real. I think all the dominoes are starting to fall in their direction. You know, they're starting to look like this could be a path for Austintown Fitch to dominate. Now, obviously, this is a big week for them because it's hard to beat the same team twice as we saw LeBray and Brookfield, right? So you look at that and you go, you got your best and their best on tape already. Who can make the best adjustments? And for my money, it's Fitch because they've done the adjusting all year long because their coaches are not only and I know everybody gets on me about, oh, you love TJ. I do love. I think TJ Parker's fantastic because he's got great coaches that are young, that are already have experience, but they've got guys that have chips on their shoulders and they want to win now because they understand that it doesn't always come next year. You're one injury away always. And let's say, Sherwood's a junior, right? So he's got an opportunity to do some big things his senior year. And while we would never wish him injury, I think every quarterback knows and is instructed at a very early age, you're one snap away from everything disappearing. And being a running back or never doing whatever again. And I think that he's got the kids buying into this. This is a special team, and I think they are going to play as such. I think that the time for being soft and celebrating third place and second place it does not have a place on this team. It's first place or bust. TJ Parker's been like that since he was 8 years old, and he'll continue to do it and succeed wherever he goes, and he loves being the head coach of this football team. Think about a year ago, the way we were discussing Fitch as to right now. And that is because he's come in, he's cleaned up, he's given, the proper just emphasis on this football team and how good they can be. And these guys believe in themselves. And that's why I believe in them. I mean, sit down with TJ Parker for 5 minutes. If you don't feel like you're going to run through a wall, then you better check your pulse because that's the kind of guy he is. So not to make this a Fitch flood fest, but
it was a close game the last time they played too. I mean, it was only a 4-point win.
Was that Harding? Was that a Harding?
No, that was at Fitch.
It was at Fitch. Okay, so I mean, it's you look at this as Tammy Jean Lowe chimes in. Hoban played Benedictine and won by 7 points. So if we're comparing apples to apples, that's exactly what we need to do. Is Benedictine got their doors blown off by Fitch, correct?
Yeah, they did. I mean,
14.
To kind of play devil's advocate, I mean, we did see. I mean, like matchups don't really mean as much because we saw Champion beat Crestview in the regular season, and Southeast got beaten Southeast beat Champion in the regular season, and that didn't fare anything for Southeast going into that game against Crestview. So, I mean, I don't like looking at that per se, and I mean, when we cross that bridge when we get there. They have.
You can only compare what you
have.
Yeah,
that's what you could compare what you have. I agree, but I mean, don't read into it as much as like that's a telling factor. It's fun to look at, but I don't think it's like
Yeah.
it
Well, I mean,
means
look
as
at
much.
I mean, Benedictine. I mean, a opponent they played Harding, and Benedictine beat Harding by 7. And that was the Hoban game was a close game, like she said, 7. But then they turned around and played Massillon Washington, which is the team that Q alluded to, and they got their doors knocked off. I mean, Washington beat the snot out of them.
It's all about matchups, right? And some teams match up better against others. No matter what their record is, some teams just match up better. And this is going to be a good matchup. This is 2 local teams that we're excited to watch do battle. And Ty, you're going to have one hell of a time because you're up against the big boys, and we know how that goes, right?
And Scotty.
Up against the world, we'll take it. And it's YSN versus the world always. So, and in the words of my good friend Mark Roth, I'll take YSN every time. So that's what you got. We're up against it, and I feel like these teams are finally starting to realize what we bring to the table because the entire narrative is being told. You know, Fitch game 1, we had them. Fitch game 10, game 9, we're gonna have them. So we have them every single week, and you've been awesome. And you've missed 1 Fitch game?
Yeah.
So I mean, listen, if you're looking for in-depth analysis and people that have seen this Fitch team the entire way, you're coming to us. That just straight up, because you're probably, let's be real, you're probably going to buy other games anyway. You might as well get the game for $9.99, give it to Fitch, and then watch the other games on Saturday. So to me, it's a no-brainer. Ty and Knox have the best call around, and we got the same thing on Saturday. We got Richie and we got Thorny doing the Poland game. I want someone who knows this team inside and out, and Richie has done his due diligence. And you know Todd Thorne is one of the most loved people in the entire universe, especially here in the Mahoning Valley. So we've got our A team going. No offense, Billy. No offense. No offense. Got our A team going up against whatever they got over there. So free doesn't scare us. Doesn't bother us in the slightest. So enjoy your free television. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to say who surprised us the most this past weekend, whether it be regular season or postseason. And we are going to talk about a little bit of NFL, who surprised us there. And, of course, that means we're going to talk about McNuggies. You're going to have some time to shine here, young man. So I hope you got your stuff all ready and prepared, because you're surrounded by a couple Browns fans that have been a little bit, skeptical about making an appearance here on the show today. So we'll talk about that and more when we come back on the YSN Power Hour. Don't you dare go anywhere.
It rhymed.
I did.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is here, so it's all hands on deck to make sure your plans still meet your needs for 2020.
Call us today.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
Welcome back to the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Oakley with you, along with a few of my friends. Guys, a lot to kind of unpack here, but there were some teams that did surprise us for the better, for the worse this past weekend. My question to you is, what score and what team surprised you the most in high school football this past week, and why? Let's start at the bottom. Reverse skate here. Ty Bartell, who do you got?
For me personally, it was the Crestview Rebels, and they really, if I wasn't a believer of them before, they really made me a believer now, because I've seen that Southeast team. I saw them when they played Champion up in Ravenna, and I got a chance to call them, and the Southeast defense was really good and proved to be nothing compared to what Crestview had, pitching a shutout. I believe the final was 33-0. Rebels had the win over Southeast Pirates. And yeah, I mean, this Rebels team has been one, it's been kind of like what we said about the Fitch argument. When are they coming back down to earth? But they're like a skyrocket shooting for the moon right now, and it's all Crestview right now. And I wouldn't bet against them going forward because they're looking really good.
Paul, is there a team that stood out to you as really shocking you one way or the other?
I don't know about shocking. I mean, we had 27 local schools go into week 8, and 12 of them came out to move on to week 9. So we lost 15 schools. But the game on Friday night when I was down there at headquarters, that was really interesting back and forth. That was just, they put up numbers, was just crazy, was that JFK Louisville game. I mean, they were just scoring points left and right, and it looked like it was going to be a shootout for a while until, JFK pulled away at the end. But, they still scored over 50 points, and Louisville scored over 30. It was just one of those games that you didn't want to turn off because it was really great. So just really kind of proved, even though they might get tested a little bit, they were able to hit the gas and really just pull away. So
Hollowball had 8 touchdowns. The kid just continues to put up video game numbers. And he's an outstanding athlete. He's an outstanding student and a great kid to boot. So Cam Hollowball started to be my hero, for crying out loud. So McNuggies, what? This should be pretty obvious, but what game shocked you the most that you saw this weekend?
I don't know if it would be obvious, but I might steal Jamie's pick because he was at the game, the Salem Quakers. I had my eye on the score update, and I did not expect them to be in a close game, let alone have a 2-possession lead heading into, I believe it was the third quarter. Am I right on that, Jamie? They had a 21-6 lead heading into the third or second quarter.
It was coming out of halftime. They were up 21-6.
Yeah, they were really shocking. They gave Poland a big-time run for their money. It was a 3-point game at the end. And, man, Salem tried to pull off the Cinderella upset, and, man, they just fell that short. I was really surprised that the Quakers gave Poland as much of a fight as they did.
Quinn, your thoughts on a big shock this weekend?
I don't know if it was really shocking or not, but Ursuline played a complete game. They looked really good. The West Branch offense, as Michael was saying earlier, it looked incredible too. And then, like Nuggies just said, the Poland game. Poland came back. They just battled back and never gave up on it. And that was, I don't want to say shocking or surprising or whatever, but it just they got faced with adversity and they came back and they battled the whole game.
Jamie, I think you were going to go with the Salem pick. I could be wrong, but what did you see this weekend? What shocked you?
No, yeah, McNuggies did steal my pick, the Salem game. No doubt about it. We expected it to be a good game, but not for Salem to come out like they did. And then kind of touch on what you said, the Poland come back how they did and just completely dominate, shift the tide completely. And since McNuggies stole mine, Billy, I'm going to have to steal yours, but LeBray. I did not think there was a chance in the world that LeBray was going to be able to beat up on Brookfield. And 35-7 the first time, come out and score 55 points against a team you only put up 1 touchdown in the first time. That's impressive.
A lot of injuries in that first game. So you had basically 2 of their LeBray's star guys were out in the first quarter of that game. So that was, and a lot of penalties second week of the season. But I am going to steal your game too while you're stealing mine. I was, I asked Jeff around or somewhere near halftime what was the score to some of our games, and I seen Hubbard 19-6, and I said, well, Hubbard's going to steamroll this game, so I didn't pay much attention to it. And then when our game started to get crazy, so I wasn't paying attention to too many scores, and then on the way home I seen to me was the big upset over Hubbard. So I said, oh God, I did not see that coming. I thought they were going to put that team away and move on to the next week. So that would be my surprising upset, whatever for the week.
I'm going to go a route that nobody has gone, and it kind of shocks me. Cardinal Mooney getting upset. I don't know if it's an upset technically, but I think we all felt that Mooney was going to push past Garfield and set up some local matchups down the line. And Garfield, as Dr. Max said, stood tall, stood strong, and essentially, they booted the Cardinals from the playoffs. And it shocked me. I really did think that Coach Pelini had his team prepared, had his team ready to go, and Garfield, again, just with a better team on that night, and ended the Cardinal season because there's no more games. It was made official earlier. The Cardinal Mooney is not playing any more football games this year, so that's going to end their season out on the playoffs, and interesting. You know what I mean? It's been a crazy year for Cardinal Mooney already, and it just got a little bit crazier because I thought they were going to beat them by 10. You know what I mean? Because Mooney just always seems to show up in games like this, and they kept looking like they were getting stronger. I know there's a lot of Garfield people that are going to say, ha ha, pound their chest, because they got a great social media, and they love pointing the finger at us and doing some stuff.
To be fair, there ain't that many G-men over there. It's a small town.
It is a small town, but it's one of those towns that we love. You know what I mean? It's a team that we would love to have as part of YSN, and I make no qualms about it. That's the kind of stuff we love. We love the hometown stuff, and that's an upset. I don't care who you are, or it's an upset. So Brandon McPherson saying that Garfield won't get past Kirtland. There's a lot of teams that won't get past Kirtland. Let's just put it that way. But
Garfield's got to go a different route before they even see Kirtland.
Yeah, so I mean, the biggest thing is there's a lot of teams that are lining up, and I got to be honest, in 2020, anything's possible, right? So, a lot of teams pointing the finger to Kirtland saying that's the team we have to beat to be legitimate. So, I don't think they're going to shy away from wearing that bullseye. And Michael Page says, bring on the Irish. He's, of course, talking about West Branch.
They're coming.
They are coming.
They're coming.
But this is the perfect – listen, if West Branch hasn't received any respect, as we've kind of uncovered on this show, this is a perfect test for them because they might be able to get past – East Liverpool and Sliver, you know what I mean? They showed up. I mean, that was a 6-point game the first time, and they blew past the Potters this time. They said, okay, we got you by a touchdown the last time. This time we're going to show you who we are, and they flexed on them. And there's a lot of East Liverpool people that were, we want West Branch. We want what? Be careful what you wish for, right? And I'll say the same thing to West Branch, and I'll say the same thing to Ursuline. Ursuline doesn't have a pushover this week, but I think West Branch knows the same. So it's going to be I think this right there, this game, Chuck has probably the most dynamic game of any game we're going to have this week, and I'll put that game against anybody.
Well, if you're saying it's going to be a test, I'm going to say it's going to be a final exam.
How? It's not a championship. Do you think this is a championship caliber game?
I think it could.
You think these two teams should be state bound? Like these two teams are better than any other teams in their division in the state right now?
Really meant more the final part. Like, finals. It's over.
Well, somebody will lose the game, Billy. You're correct. Yeah. There will be somebody who it'll be their final game.
It's not as fun. See, Quinn got it. It's not as fun when I got to explain the whole thing.
Well, I mean,
I just like I said, it's one of two local matchups that we have, one on Friday and one on Saturday. So it'll be fun.
Is there any game that you guys are really, really looking forward to, like calling or not calling? Is there a game you got your eye on and you're saying, I want to see this game on YSN? Quinn, you're shaking your head. Go ahead.
Wherever Jeff's at, I want that game. I want to see that game. I don't care what game it is. You could have two Pee-wee teams. I want to see Jeff call it. That's it.
Well, we're hoping to go out to the LeBray Wycliffe game. So
yeah, if you're out there, let's make this public. If you're out there in LeBray, and we all know that you love the game that we had, I mean, you've shown it in droves. If you want Mac and you want Betos, we're going to give it to you. We're going to give you Mac and Betos again. We'll let them follow you as far as they'll go. But I'll ask you this. We need your help in getting in that press box.
Yep.
We need your help. So if you're out there, make sure you're hitting up your AD. Your AD is going to help us get into that press box as well. But we need to get into that press box if you want Mac and Betos, because
we
that
need to
is
get the Wycliffe.
Yeah, we help us get there, because that we want to give them to you as much as you want them from us. So let's go. Let's get that going on Twitter and Facebook, and hit up the ADs. Make sure you know that we're giving 25% back to your school. And that's LeBray. Straight up, let's go. Let's get it going, because you got something special here. You put up how many points? 55? That's impressive. Let's go. Like that's what you want to watch, and we're giving you the Gus Johnson squared crew that's going to keep you on your toes from pillar to post. So let's get that going. We want to do this game absolutely, but if we can't, because we're not allowed, we can't. So we're asking for help from you. So that's help us help you, Jerry Maguire. That's going to do for that portion of it, guys. A lot of NFL games as well. But I think the one that everybody wants to talk about is the Browns-Steelers game. And reluctantly, I am going to turn the keys over to the 16-year-old. Go ahead.
Yeah. So everybody, including Quinn, Browns fans guaranteeing a victory over Pittsburgh. Within, I think, 3 minutes, it was 10-0.
They're gone.
And there they
I say that
go.
about every Browns game, so that doesn't mean much.
But you were guaranteeing a victory.
I do it every week.
Hey, show your face so we can see your tears.
Yeah. Come on, coward.
Why did Munson leave too?
I do it every week. Doesn't mean much.
Yeah.
I'm
There we
leaving
go,
so I can go to
Jamie.
the bathroom because I don't care about the toilet. The Steelers care more about the bathroom.
Well, the Steelers just,
Go ahead,
Browns
Nuggy.
fans-
Talk about the Steelers for me.
Yeah, because they were on cloud nine. They thought they were untouchable, and that was called a humbling. Hello. That was called a humbling if you're a Browns fan. They needed that. They needed that loss to bring them back down to earth. And you want to say the Steelers haven't played anybody? Well, who did the Browns play heading into that game? Who have the Ravens beat so far in the season? And just if anybody's defending Baker Mayfield, I don't know how you can do it after that game. Baker Mayfield is hot garbage trash. He is horrible. And the Browns won too many games to tank for Trevor Lawrence, so they kind of screwed themselves there. He's going to go to the New York Jets. The Browns can't even lose the right way, because this is going to begin the downfall of that locker room. And I'm going to be honest, Case Keenum should be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. When you look at what he did in that game, I'm going to admit it.
Steelers, not the Browns.
Leave
the Browns alone.
What?
No.
Leave the Browns alone.
Quinn, this is
No, I'm not. I'm not leaving
You'll
the
have
Browns alone. You didn't leave my Steelers alone for
I
2
never
weeks.
said anything about them. I just said
2
they were
weeks. 2 weeks.
You get it all out?
You wouldn't even speak to me on Friday.
There's more.
And you
reasons.
still, you really, all right.
Did you get it all out?
Kind of.
All right. Now you have to be civil.
All right.
Guys, they took their medicine, and now...
No, they didn't. Billy Mack was
went to the bathroom.
Muted. No, I'm talking about Mac. Muted and didn't even show his face that whole time.
Somebody was at the door. You know how my dogs get.
Yeah.
That was a little bit weak, guys. You could have just stuck around.
I went to the bathroom.
I'm not a
didn't.
Browns
I
fan,
can
so
hear it.
I went to the bathroom.
He
There's
didn't go to the
somebody at the
bathroom.
door.
I did.
Carrie,
didn't
I don't
flush,
need
'cause
cookies.
I can
I
hear
need
it.
nuggies.
I flushed. Absolutely.
Mac, Quinn, now the floor is yours.
We lost. It is what it is. We lost. We lost.
Yeah, Baker's.
And let me just say, I'll say this one thing. And it's the only thing I'm going to say about the Pittsburgh Steelers ever is that if Roethlisberger wasn't there, they stink. With Roethlisberger, Super Bowl contender.
Actually, if Roethlisberger wasn't there, they'd be 8-8.
They stink. Without Big Ben, they stink.
Just saying.
Plain and simple. They stink without Roethlisberger. Right now, they could be a Super Bowl contender.
We have legitimacy. Kate got the doorbell notification. Someone was at the door. So Mac is not lying. He might have rung the doorbell himself.
Probably.
I don't know how to do that.
Matt called somebody up to come ring the doorbell. It's like, oh, shit. McNuggies is about to talk. Yeah, someone ring my doorbell real quick.
Baker stinks.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Just because of this. No McCookies for McNuggies.
I don't
Those are
need
big.
Carrie's cookies.
Wow.
I'll take Gary's cookies. Those things were great.
4 and
We'll
2
take Gary's
isn't
cookies.
the end of the world either. It's all good. Soon to be 5 and 2.
Well, I mean, when you have that trash at quarterback, I don't know how you can be confident in winning any more games.
I didn't.
Michael, I don't think anybody's going to argue with you that
Day.
Baker
Wow,
stinks.
wow.
He sucks.
Nope, nobody here is going to argue that. Baker stinks.
Also, I got a legit question. Aside from that one sack that Myles Garrett had, where was he all day?
Getting blocked.
That's right.
What do you want?
He literally got triple teamed on the sack he had.
What do you want him to do?
Where was the rest of that defensive line that's also supposed to be so good?
Never said the rest of the line was that good. I said Myles Garrett was good. And you triple teamed him. You proved the point.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, that comment DJ just showed, they all played and they all sucked.
I didn't read it. It was too long.
Well, yeah.
At least both
20
Quinn
words,
and,
Quinn. That's tough.
Quinn and Mac are.
And I don't got that kind of attention span.
It's not doom and gloom right now. I mean,
Steve's going to argue about Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield.
It wasn't Baker's fault. I mean, they all stunk. They legitimately all stunk.
Time out. Well, I'm going to stop you right there. Let me make this point. Let me make this point. It wasn't Baker's fault. You and I sat here.
Garbage.
He threw that ball literally to Minka Fitzpatrick.
Right in his hand.
Oh, yeah.
Whose fault would you? Where would you put that blame?
Well, I'm saying he's the front of the pack, but they all stunk.
But it's not Baker's fault, though, is it?
He is not a talented quarterback.
Wasn't that
Nobody's kidding
He
themselves.
was cradled in Oklahoma
terrible.
by a system with Lincoln Riley that is perfect for transfer quarterbacks.
He was pretty good at Oklahoma, though.
Yeah, he was.
He was pretty.
He's not good in the NFL, though.
Baker just makes bad decisions. Doesn't take away from it. Yes, it does.
That absolutely.
That is part of talent, is making good decisions.
That ball into is tighter than our like 2 boxes between me and McNuggies.
Let me say.
Why is he making that decision?
Because he makes bad. Like,
I'm sorry.
This
Well,
is
what
how
about
you
the picking
teach.
through to what, Mike Hill?
All right, Mike, you're about to get muted. You're this close with your little spin, and you just talk over people. Stop talking over people. You made your point. I asked you twice. Are you done? And you said what?
I said yes, and then Billy Mack started talking.
He's not. He's not.
Hi, Jamie.
Stand back. Oh, sorry. Hey, Paul. Paul, congratulations. Florida State won this week.
Yeah, that was shocking.
Did you want to shut? That's it. That's it.
Booted him too. Roll up the sleeves.
Jeez.
And you are in timeout.
Yeah, he's in timeout. He's backstage. We didn't hurt him. He's backstage. Listen, we had to give him time out there. I mean, there's no like I asked him straight up. I asked him, "Are you done?" Twice. Yes. Then he blames it on Billy Mack. I've been monitoring this entire conversation like Back to the Future 2 style. Billy Mack didn't say anything. Quinn was talking. Should we let him back in?
Paul, did the Raiders play this week, or was that a bye?
Bye week.
Bye week.
Jamie, Cowboy game, the most important
that's why I
thing.
got stuck with Matt Ryan, which
You're going timeout now.
Came good for me, so it was all right. But I was playing DJ, who like sat 3 people in 3 open spots.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, no quarterback, no running back, no flex, and you had 3 guys that all scored over 20 points on your bench. I'm like, he probably could have gave me a game. Nope.
Oh, I forgot to do fantasy this week too.
Yeah, oh yeah, Billy was another one. So I'm like, these guys just gave up.
I'll say this. I'll say this above all else. I was working Friday. Billy Mack was working on Friday. What were you doing Friday, Paulie?
I was here at school, and then I came down to headquarters.
Were you working?
Yeah, I was working.
What game were you watching?
I was watching them all, man. I had them all.
Respect.
Okay. That's all I'm saying.
In honor of Jeff Bezos for sound effects.
Michael Page says, keep him out until tomorrow. McNuggies, you are turning into the most hated person on YSN right now because Billy Mack had that title for the last 6 months, and you are fighting for the title.
All because I'm wearing this jersey.
No, it's not.
Because there's way more Steeler fans who watch our show.
He was actually at work.
Jeez.
And then Steve with the dynamite drop in. No.
Bad thing is all of us can hear Steve saying that.
I hear his voice saying,
Look at that.
No.
Your mom.
No. That's Steve.
You're not her favorite. It's McNuggets.
I've
I'm
never
not
been
gonna
her
lie to you.
favorite.
I just like Steve's profile picture where it's him waving. That's just my favorite.
That's going to lead us to congratulations to everybody that survived that game, both Browns fans and Steelers fans. Hopefully, the Browns fans learned not to talk for 4 days prior to the game, and hopefully, maybe the Steelers fans learn not to talk after the game because we can get educated too. McNuggies, you got something to say?
We're 5-0. Why can't I talk?
Paul, put me down for a Browns win this next week too, please. Thank you.
What do you think?
So,
Yes.
I don't think Steve knows how to get on.
backstage, please let him on.
I don't think
Hang
he knows
on,
how.
hang on. Somebody's got to carry the conversation for a minute. Go ahead.
Oh,
Talk about how
Cowboys
much-
Cardinals.
Oh yeah.
Jamie, tell me this. Jamie, tell me this. I've got some. Let's just say I have some interest in the Cardinals game tonight. Do you think the Cowboys are going to pull this off? It's a 1-point spread in favor of the Cardinals. Talk to me about that.
Well, if I was a betting man, I would probably put my money on the Cardinals plus that point. Andy Dalton, as much excitement and belief I have in him, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it this first week. The game plan is supposed to be feed Zeke, and I don't think Mike McCarthy's going to just go with that. I mean, we all know it. He likes to sling it around, and Andy Dalton's going to have to be able to do that. Will he be able to produce? I don't know, and I do not think the Dallas Cowboys defense is going to be able to stop Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Kenyon Drake. It's just not going to happen. As much as I want to say it, it's just not going to happen.
That's a shame too, Jamie, because if the Cowboys defense goes, I mean, it's almost like not missing a beat. You got the best backup in the league in Dalton, so it's like they could step in. If they had a defense, they could still be winning games right now, but that's the issue.
The Cowboys will win tonight.
We're going to put a timeout on this as we bring in the general manager of your sports network, Steve Leslie, to give his opinion.
Steve!
How you guys?
Hola.
Max, say that again for me. Tonight, the what?
The Cowboys are going to win.
Oh, you just made my day. McNuggies, congratulations. I'm a Browns fan. I'm 53 years old, but I'm also a smart man. I bet the Steelers because it's not even a contest, so I won money. And Mac, for you, Bojack, I also just took a little favorable shot on the over 50 in the Browns game, and Case Keenum couldn't score when the game was over. So enough with Case Keenum. He stinks too. So the Browns are, I talked with DJ, an 8-8 or a 9-7 football team that Browns fans need to accept. Period. Pittsburgh is the better team. They'll be the better team next time. And Browns fans should be smart and bet the other way for fun purposes only, obviously, but that's how we do it. So, Mac, I'm in good shape now. I have a little interest tonight in Arizona, so thank you.
Steve, bring your camera, your computer up. There we go. Like we're all looking down.
and using his phone just like you.
One more I notice isn't the Burbick Farms rant. I love rants, but
you can start us off.
Okay, I'm going to start it off. Okay,
beef.
I don't care if somebody picks 12 out of 15 games right. Put your money where your mouth is. Okay. Anybody could go online and say, I'll take a shot here. I'll take a shot there. Ohio hopefully gets it right. But some of our familiar faces on YSN, put your money where your mouth is.
Stevie,
and I'll listen to you guys.
Did you see that he put $20 on the Billskis?
Oh, well, that now I'm on Mahomes for the rest of my life now. McNuggies, you should be happy. Your Steelers are a good football team, but I'm going to tell you, it's a long way to go, brother.
I 100% agree with everything Steve just said. All right, I'm not going to dispute that.
Because Steve can't kick you off the show.
Wise man indeed.
You got to go with the heart does you a lot of good things, but sometimes you got to go with your brains.
Oh, here's one for you, Paul, if you want it. Are we going to talk about how the Braves completely choked this week?
Michael Page, one more Burbick rant too.
Michael Page, don't steal my G. Burbick Farm beef.
One more from the GM.
It's a beef.
Give it to him.
We do the game of the week every week with every school we have. So others, get to the back of the bus because that's where you belong. Period.
Boom! Take it. All right, that was your 17-time winner, Steve Leslie, the G. Burbick Farms beef right here on YSN. Steve, you gonna hang around? Or you gonna be peacing out?
I'm peacing out. I love listening to you guys. It's a good show. Quinn, smile. You're young yet, dude. When you're 53, you get used to stuff like this. It's going to be okay.
Steve, you had the glory days. You had the 80s.
Well, but we still lost in glory days. We threw a fumble when it was. We threw a pick when it was 102 below zero. We're throwing the ball. We fumbled a zillion times, and John Elway still haunts me. So that ain't fun neither.
Well, you can relive it tonight with a poor man's John Elway.
All right. Go Chiefs. Go Arizona. Mac, you made my day, brother. I love you.
Cowboys will win.
And there he goes. Like Batman in the night. He just swoops in and swoops out just like that. McNuggies, it is your turn for the G. Burbick Farms. What's your beef?
I got two. One is with everybody saying the Steelers haven't played anybody, yet said the Browns are probably going to win this week. Not Quinn. Two is with myself because I can get carried away.
Well played. Can we all give a little McNuggy love on
Short
that?
and sweet.
To eat it like that. I mean, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. All right, Muntz, you're up.
Yeah, well, Michael Page kind of teed it up for me there. My beef is with the Atlanta Braves. Tampa Bay at least won their damn series, even though they were up 3-0. You got to win one game. Win one game, you move on. Took Tampa 4 games to do that, but they did. Atlanta up 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. You got 3 games to just try to win one game to go back to the World Series since 1999, and you just choked. I mean, it would just piss me off. I was trying not to watch the game because every time I was watching the game, whether it was game, 5, 6, or 7, every time I watched, Dodgers go up. So I'm like, shit, if I don't watch, maybe it'll be okay. Nope, didn't matter. Last night they can't run the bases correctly. They get a double play on a squeeze play between third and home, and a guy runs a third coming from all the way around from first, and he gets thrown out too. I'm like, how stupid is this right now? I'm like, they are a better team. And I just watched them just pretty much collapse, and pitchers work in the outside zone and decide, well, now that I've worked outside and got 2 strikes, let me just throw one down the middle. And Bellinger parks it in the second deck. It's like, what the hell, man? Come on. Like, you were there. You had them beat.
Hang on one second, Paul. We do have some breaking news. Boardman and Cheney game has been canceled. According to WFMJ.com and our partners over there, 3 Boardman football coaches test positive. So the game for Cheney, scheduled for this week, has been canceled. A total of 5 Spartan coaches have tested positive for the district, and 4 others are quarantining. Boardman School District reporting that 3 of the district's off-staff varsity football coaches have tested positive for COVID-19. So that's a direct line right from WFMJ. For the complete story, head over to WFMJ.com. Obviously, that does something here to our coverage, as that game being canceled will mean that we are one less game here on the network on Friday, correct? Yeah, that'd be a Friday night. So that's again, breaking news out of Boardman. The Boardman-Cheney game is canceled for this week. So that probably, I would imagine, I don't want to speculate, but that probably ends Boardman's season if that's the way it's going to go. So we'll see. We'll keep in close contact with Casey and Chris over at Cheney and see if Cheney decides to schedule somebody else on their schedule for this week. It's going to be short notice, so we'll see if they're able to pull somebody. But again, breaking news from WFMJ.com. Boardman-Cheney has been canceled. Quinn, your beef, brought to you by G. Burbick Farms.
I'm going to deflect for a second here. Paul, are you done? I want to make sure you get your fair share.
Thank you, Quinn. I
Sorry,
appreciate that so much. Yeah, I'm pretty much done. They just
Oh my gosh.
They pissed me off. I had high hopes. We were there. And it's not like one of those things, Billy, we can say, well, at least we were the second best team in the National League. No, we could have went to the World Series. You screwed it up, and now they're where they are. And now I will be the biggest Tampa Bay fan in the world, and hope Tampa Bay wins it because.
Oh, if you remember, the
that
beginning
city's
of the year,
on fire right now. They got a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
I hope they get a World Series. Too.
the circle, they should have closed that game out in one of those 4 opportunities, but they're still a top end pitcher away. Bauer's going to be out there. That's who they need to go try to get.
I mean, pitching was going to be their little bit of
just top end because they're young. They're young in between. They need that top. They need a guy who can hold that rotation down and say, "Hey, you're our stopper. Go get us a dub." And that could be Bauer.
And they thought it was Fried, but he got tagged up for 3 runs in that game 6. Just pissed me off. I mean, you know what? I mean, people give me shit all the time about the teams I'm a fan of, but you know what? We all do that to everybody. But
well, wait, listen. Before we get into this crap, it's you poked fun at who? The entire series. You poked fun at the Rays. Oh, the Rays are going to let the Stros back into it. The Rays are going to blow this. The Rays are going to blow.
They did. They were up 3-0.
The Rays are in the series.
What?
The Rays are in the series.
And that's why I said good job to them for closing it out and shutting the cheaters down. So, good for them.
Listen, hey, well, you know what? I'm going to get to this as my beef. I just changed my beef right meow. All right. You done, Paul?
I'm done. Quinn, it's all you, brother. Go to it, man.
My beef is with myself. I'm a delusional football fan, as always. I'm sure Nuggies knows that. But it comes down to fantasy for me. In my other league, I'm undefeated currently, and I thought, hey, it's a great idea to pick up the Vikings defense and pick up Kirk Cousins because my quarterback's on a bye. Kirk Cousins played well for me for fantasy purposes on a bye week. But the Vikings defense, you're playing the Falcons. The Falcons are a travesty. Didn't think they would do what they did, and I got negative points from it. So thanks to the great Minnesota Vikings for basically screwing me out of a undefeated fantasy team.
Anybody want to jump on this Michael Page beef? Because this was originally going to be my beef. OBJ taking off all his stuff. The game's not even over yet.
They told him he was done.
I thought that was pretty disrespectful.
They pulled him. They said he was done.
Yeah, I know. I get that. But leave your freaking clothes on. Like
quarterbacks take their shit off all the time when they're done in a game like that. You always see them with a T-shirt and a hat.
Are they injured?
When they're being pulled?
Regardless, yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen. I mean, every quarterback I've ever seen get pulled does this guy, right? He hangs his hands on his shoulder pads. That's what Baker did.
I'm
Baker
just
was
happy
pulled
he
before
didn't
anybody.
kicking that yet. So, baby steps.
I got some beef with that, but I got bigger beef to handle, I guess. Coming up in 3 squares. Ty, it's your turn.
I have probably a whole steak's worth of beef because I haven't done beef in a while. I haven't had really much beef, so I have 3 beefs. First and foremost, the smallest beef is fantasy. I only was paying attention again this week because I'm facing you, Quinn, and your cheating ass team of getting Devontae Adams and
I'm the GM of the century. Don't give me that.
And Alvin Kamara, and he has every team because Tristan's trading him gold for garbage over there. So yeah, Quinn just cheated his way into a fantasy win. Probably paid off Tristan.
GM of the century. That's all it is.
My next beef is with the New England Patriots and just getting beat by the Broncos this week. I was really looking for a win in this game with Cam coming back. He was rusty, and Broncos defense really shut us down, made us look bad. I still have faith in Belichick and that he could turn the season around. We could probably go 8-8, 9-7. My final beef is with young Steelers fans, and I'm looking at you there, McNuggies. Young Steelers fans are the equivalent of Yankees fans. You are a Jeff Bezos, McNuggies. You are all up the Steelers' ass all the time, but you haven't won anything in well over a decade as well, just like the Yankees. It's the same light bulb theory. You talk about how good the old one was, you don't change it. So that's my beef is young Steelers fans. Be humble in your victories.
Did you just talk about 2 really bad analogies and combine them into one?
Steelers fans and Yankees fans are exactly the same. There's no doubt in my mind.
I don't think you got the light bulb thing right, but I'm gonna roll with it.
Don't change your light bulb. You just talk about how good the old one was, and that's all you hear the Steelers about. 6 rings. That's young Steelers fans. That's their favorite argument is 6 Super Bowls when they've probably only seen 1, maybe 2 of them.
Interesting. Jamie Thompson, go ahead.
Well, I guess I can kind of build off ties there with the fantasy stuff. Tristan made those trades and has a running back who had a bye, no defense, and a kicker who was on a bye. He started them this week. So, fantasy league for YSN, it's getting off the rails. Who's the commissioner? Take control. But last Saturday,
take control. He had a whole bunch of guys sitting.
He started this. He started this.
But hey, I don't know. Did you guys watch the Loma versus Lopez fight?
I didn't.
No.
You didn't? Well, it was terrible. Okay. I thought it was a good fight overall. I mean, Loma does kind of, just kind of, I don't know what you want me to say. Kind of picks when he wants to start going and he presses the pedal. I mean, they talked about it well through those first 4 rounds. That's what Loma does. But at the end of the fight, through that 7 through 11 rounds, I thought he won them all. I think it should have been a draw. But you look at the scorecards, 116 to 112. I can see how you got that. 117 to 111, you're out of your mind. And then 119 to 109. Julie Letterman is a clown, just like her father was, and should never be allowed to judge another professional bout in her entire life. You're trying to tell me that Loma, the #1 pound-for-pound boxer in the entire world, only won 1 freaking round? You're out of your mind.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go. I like a fired up Jamie Thompson. Dr.
Jamie
Mac.
with the old 1-2.
My beef is pretty just simple. It's Baker Mayfield. You stink. You should retire. Quit. The Browns should not offer him an extension this year. They need to go find anybody, and I mean anybody, to play quarterback for that team, other than Baker Mayfield.
Shut up, Britt. They belong in the toilet bowl.
The cornflakes or the Browns?
Both.
One at least tastes good, then it goes to the toilet bowl.
Here we go. Dak to Cleveland talk starting in
Yeah,
West
right.
Branch.
Yeah, right. Don't let Dak go to that trash city.
Starting in Beloit, Ohio. We're tracing those rumors.
You're not even going to like Dak anymore. Dalton's going to take you to something, and you'll be on train.
Andy Dalton could win the Super Bowl, and I'll still be all in on Dak Prescott.
Get
That's
out
my
of here with
quarterback.
Andy.
When
When Quinn backs a quarterback, you know you're in trouble.
He did well in Cincinnati with A.J. Green, and that's it.
Did he?
Decent guys.
Did he? Is that why they got a #1 overall pick?
Well, the offensive line did fall apart. That's why Joe Burrow's been sacked more than anybody else in the league.
I agree with that.
That why Andy Dalton never won a playoff game.
Got him there.
I'd take
get
a
him through
playoff
it.
appearance at this point.
It don't matter because he's winning tonight. He's winning the game tonight.
All right, let's do this. It is my beef, and my beef goes #1. It was going to be with OBJ because you know how I feel about people walking off the field or giving up on their teammate. Like, listen, just leave your cleats on. Keep your shirt down. That's all you got to do. I don't care if you pull yourself, your coach pulls you. There's a common decency and respect that you have to your teammates, to the guys that you have. I don't care if you're playing for money or you're playing for pride. Keep your stuff on. And you saw him on the sidelines, jawing with the people in Pittsburgh. You lost. You lost. The only thing that you probably could have said right there is, I make millions of dollars a year and you pay to see me. That's the only thing you could say, because what trash is he going to talk with his team getting just absolute lambasted? And I tried to find a different word that because I was going to say something else. Absolutely crushed the entire. What do you have to say? Look at the field, because that's where you should have been playing the entire game. Don't worry about the guys behind you unless they're saying derogatory things, in which case you can tell one of your cronies to go get him kicked out of the game. Keep your shirt down. Keep your shoes on. There's no reason for you to take your cleats off unless you're giving them to charity, and even after that, you can do it after the game. My other beef is with the YSN Wives Club and the late nights. You were invited. Come on down. You're invited. We sit here and we talk about sports. We talk about life. We talk about all kinds of things after the Fridays and Saturday nights. Come on down. You're welcome. Because it's not just about sports here. It's about family. And we've had some great talks after the games. We've had some great talks during the games. We've had some great things happen right here in these four walls. You are always welcome. YSN Wives Club, come on down. We'd love to have you be part of it. And
That sounds like a show.
What's that?
YSN Wives Club.
It is. It's like Golden Girls.
It's been talked about.
It's been talked about, and Quinn, keep it up, and you'll be leading it. So that's.
You don't have to listen to the Steelers on that one.
My beef is for Dr. Mac for not inviting.
She's been
me.
invited.
So we
She's
have a
been
false.
invited.
Do we have a false beef?
Hey, Billy, did
Yeah.
you pick Mooney this week?
What's that?
You pick Mooney this week?
Over who?
What are you trying to do here? Because you're an idiot.
It was right.
Oh no, I picked Garrettsville.
There you go. Rub that
Yeah.
in.
He
You're
played
right.
Garfield, right?
Yeah, I picked-
Betos, Billy, Ty, and Richie. They all picked Garrettsville.
Why would you bring that up?
Did you say me?
Yeah, Betos,
Oh,
Billy,
okay.
Ty, and Richie.
Oh, okay.
I'll be there Friday with cookies. Carrie
Yeah, she
Munson's
told-
coming.
She told me last night she ordered cookies.
All
I'll be
right.
there to steal them.
No, you said who said they don't want Carrie Munson cookies?
It was me, so I won't be there. I was joking.
Now you want pride too
Oh,
important.
McNugget's got to go do a football. Are you playing a game this weekend? Beaver local playing?
I believe they're playing, but if I'm not mistaken, it's at Martin's Ferry.
Oh, okay.
You better saddle up, cowboy.
I will.
Is that Friday or Saturday?
I honestly don't know.
Paul, put it on the schedule, please. At least we know we got it covered. Again, breaking news
Mike,
out.
talk to your dad. Figure out where it's at. You got the kid upstairs.
Yep.
Who knows all of it.
Also, we are going to work on coverage for volleyball and soccer this week. We are trying to see what the fees are. I mean, I hate saying that we're dependent on fees, but that's the way we have to do it. We have to be able to be able to profit. I mean, we wouldn't be much of a business if we weren't able to keep the lights on. So we'll keep you up to date on everything that is volleyball and soccer, and of course football as we move towards week number. Is this 10? 9. So stay with us. Of course, we'll have all the up-to-date stuff. We're still sorting through the stories from this weekend, and you can get a lot of player profiles, a lot of Coaches Corner this week right here on YSN. That is going to wrap it up for our coverage of the YSN Power Hour until tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here. Same bat time, same bat channel on your sports network. Special thanks to our sponsors, special thanks to our panelists, and a special thanks to you for watching us each and every day on your sports network. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow right here on YSN.
You stink.